Welcome to Next to Madison, a podcast to help you live your best life.
Hey, it's Madison Malloy. Just wanted to remind you to make sure you grab a copy of my book, Time to Lighten the Fuck Up. It is a great, funny self-help book that is going to help you get out of your own way. I have already helped thousands and thousands of people, and they are on their way to living their dream life, and I want every listener to be able to live their dream life as well. So grab a copy of the book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or even the audiobook on Audible. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to another episode of Next to Madison. I'm your host, Madison Malloy, and on this episode, we are going to talk about improving relationships. I am not a relationship expert, but I have been I work in mindset and making people live a better life, and there's a lot of stuff that I've learned just from dating out there. Now, constant things I hear from people is dating sucks, there's no good people left, blah, blah, blah. What you talk about and what you believe shows up in your reality, because that is not my experience anymore. I have met wonderful people that have been nothing but kind to me. Now, they're not somebody I want to spend the rest of my life with necessarily, but I don't run that narrative of there's no good people left, nobody's available, everybody's an asshole. You've got to watch the language around this. So this is for people who are single, but also people that are in relationships. Like attracts like. I am one of the coaches for Procter Gallagher, and I talk to clients all the time, and they wonder why they're getting the results. They start looking at their thoughts and at their language around it. So if you are dating or if you're having trouble in your relationship, really start paying attention to the thoughts you're thinking and also the language that you're using, because those do end up showing up in our reality. And a lot of times we will project onto somebody how we're feeling when that's not actually the case at all. And communication is so key in relationships. I know that I struggle sometimes where our ego steps in the front of our heart, and we don't want to get hurt, and we don't want to get rejected. So we end up in situationships. And these are never fun because you're always in this cloudy area. And then when you want to ask for a relationship, you're afraid that it's going to end. But I got news for you. Wouldn't you rather, if something was supposed to end sooner rather than later? I want to encourage everybody to let go of that irrational fear of rejection and go for it. Start living your life like this could be the last year. You're going to end up having deeper relationships, better communication with people, because your heart is going to be running the show and not your ego. When our ego runs the show, we usually are operating out of fear, and that fear is going to do nothing but keep us stuck. And so relationships are a beautiful, amazing thing. And everyone that doesn't work out is that much closer to the one that will. So next time you find yourself being negative about relationships, being negative about dating, being upset over something, having false expectations, really start paying attention to those thoughts and try to really rewire them. And the quickest way to an easy life and an amazing relationship is just drop the expectations altogether. People usually cannot match your expectations because sometimes our expectations become a little too unrealistic. So set the bar low. No. Set the bar high for your life, but you know what I mean by this. Anyways, there is a book on relationships that I talk about a little bit in my book, Time to Lighten the F Up. So I'm going to read some of this for you guys during this episode. But I really, really hope that this makes an impact. And even if you're in a serious relationship, there are ups and downs, but pay attention when those conflicts happen, what internally is going on. Big time. So anyways, chapter 9 of the book of Lighten the F Up. We're going to read some of this, okay? Because I think it's important. Time to improve your relationships. Romantic relationships. I saw a marquee today for some entitled woman's prenuptial event. It said, "Welcome to Rachel's bridal brunch. 62 days and sit until I say I do." I thought, holy crap, she's having having events, I can't even read today. 2 whole months before her wedding. Does she have some shit going on every weekend until she and her poor future husband tie the knot? This kind of stuff amazes me. We celebrate weddings like these people are really carrying out something. It's not a skill to get married. I wish we'd celebrate other achievements with the same vigor. Rachel got her dream job. Rachel wrote a government toppling manifesto. Rachel cured anal warts. Sure, I'll go to a brunch for those things. It's not that I'm against marriage as an institution. I'm just baffled by how much our society overvalues and overplays milestones of couple relationships. And I want to stop right there and mention something because there are people out there that are tying their self-worth into whether they're in a relationship or not, whether they're single or they're married. If you are doing that, you need to stop it immediately. Everybody's got a different path and a different purpose and a different timeline. You cannot compare yourself or take your worthiness or your validation from somebody else because you don't have a marriage or a relationship. When you're single, this is your time to grow. This is your time to do what you love. This is your time to excel in your career. And so I do want to encourage people to make sure, especially women, that we are celebrating our friends' promotions, our friends' milestones that aren't just tied around relationships or family, because I think those are important. And if we can really set the ground for that, I think we can make a big change to where people are okay in celebrating all of life's milestones because life is so precious. Anyways, continuing on back to time to light the fuck up. That being said, I'm not a relationship expert, nor do I want to be. I'm not qualified to tell you how to fall in love or have the perfect marriage. What I'm suggesting instead is that, like everything else this book talks about, we could all lighten the fuck up when it comes to relationships. We have made relationships stupidly overly complicated when they're actually very simple. If you're questioning whether a person likes you, if you're not sure how they feel, if you're looking at your phone and hoping they're going to text back, but you're just not sure, they're not right for you. This isn't that you're not good enough. It isn't that you've done something wrong, unless, you stole their identity or something. Don't do that shit. Remember we talked about rejection? There are infinite reasons why you don't click for someone else. And if you think about it, do you really want to be with someone who isn't crazy about you? Do you really want to be tolerated or settled for? No way. And you deserve better than that. So when you get the stop signal from someone, even if they seem like they would just be the perfect partner, respect that and quickly move on. Folks, there are things, this is not in the book, we're going to make a note on this. You can never get back the most precious commodity in the world. Okay? Time. Yes, there's a siren going by. It's New York. I'm not stopping it and I'm not editing it. Why? Because that's an authentic thing that just happened. Anywho, yes, you don't want to be with somebody that doesn't want to be for you. And I want everyone to work on their confidence. And I think what would help so many people with their confidence is starting to have the conversations that scare them. Asking people for what you want when it comes to relationships is going to build your confidence. It's going to make you realize that you are worth so much and you're that much closer to the thing that's supposed to happen. Why is it that we don't call friends or call psychics or pray to God when we don't get a job? We quickly move on. And the reason is we're not attached to some false outcome. We'd like the job, but we just don't know what it was going to be about. When we get into relationships, we create this false sense of hope that might not even be the case. We create these images in our mind that are probably not the truth. And so we idolize and we romanticize and we put these people on pedestals. And when it doesn't work out for us, we feel that our whole world is shattered when that's actually not the truth at all. Anyways, back to the book. Okay. So society has put so much pressure on us individuals to find the right partner, get married, have kids, and play these expected roles. This is a weird stigma about spending time alone. What kind of social leper is out there eating by herself or going to a party alone or spending Valentine's Day solo drooling over Avengers movies? Little known secret for you, plenty of couple people envy that. Anyhow, you don't have to do any of it. What you need to do is what makes your heart happy. If your heart seeks a marriage, then do that. Awesome. But if your heart isn't in that, you don't have to. It's a heartwarming thought. This idea that there is a person we can spend our lives with but we place far more emphasis on the idea than it calls for. We overthink it and we push ourselves to conform to this idea. So we make mistakes and jump into relationships we're not ready for. And then in doing so, we're involving not just our own lives, but the lives of others. Okay. So here's the thing too. I want to make sure that you actually are communicating what you want. There was a time in my life where I was so insecure when it came to relationships that I would run this narrative to anyone that would listen to me. I don't need a man. I don't want to be married. I don't need that. I'm just focusing on my career. When deep down, my heart craved nothing more than to meet the person that God intended for me. But as you can see, my mindset and my language was very opposite of what I actually wanted. So make sure that you really have your thoughts, your language aligned with what you truly want. And let go of this fear of what people are going to think. If people think something's wrong with you because you're still 41 and single, I got news for you. I have wonderful people around me. I'm 41 and single. There was a lot of things that held me back. And now I know that just any moment, this amazing person is going to come into my life because I'm ready. And my thoughts and my language are aligned with my heart's desires. So fuck what anyone thinks or what your parents have an opinion on it. Most of your parents just want you to be happy. So take this pressure off yourself. Oh, I have to be married. I don't want to go to, Becky Sue's wedding because everyone's going to ask why I'm single and when I'm getting married. Those are just questions they're going to ask you because they can't ask you about your bra size, okay? Everyone's just trying to communicate, and really people's intentions when they say that are not harmful. They're just curious. But just remember, validate yourself when it comes to love as well. There's so much more, and I want you guys to go and read this chapter yourself, chapter 9 in my book, Time to Lighten the Fuck Up. If you haven't purchased this, please do. One of the things that's hard for so many people is asking for help, and I am trying to get better at myself. So if you guys could please help me buy this book. It's a very great read. It's going to make you laugh. It's going to help you get out of your way. And it covers a whole gamut of life issues that are just going to help you feel lighter and brighter. But just remember, it is so our thoughts that create where we're at in anything, including relationships. It comes down to our income, our health, our weight. Everything comes down to the self-image, which I'm drilling again, and I've had on this podcast because it's so important. If you are struggling with anything, I want you to start visualizing what self-image you need to live the life you want and start matching that frequency. That is what is going to bring in these manifestations quicker. The other thing on relationships I need to get back to, I love TikTok, okay? Like, it's great. I have to set a timer because the algorithm is so good. It just sucks me in. I swear, as soon as I want to get off the video, there's like a psychic reading, and I'm like, how do they know me? This is insane, right? So, anyways, what I do want to say is there's a lot of relationship out there on social media and TikTok, primarily because there's longer form videos. And there's some good relationship advice, but there's also a lot of toxic relationship advice. Like, I like her videos because I think she's funny and my friends really enjoy her, but sprinkle. Okay. This woman basically wants men to like give you money. She thinks that they cheat on you. And trust me, she's right when it comes to certain men. Okay. But I don't want people looking at this and throwing their relationships away because they're getting advice that's not tailored to them or their situation. Every person is unique. Every situation is unique. Every couple is unique. Go with what your heart feels and be okay with communicating what it is that you need. That'll solve 95% of your problems right there. And also, stop comparing what you see online to what your relationship is or your lack of relationship is, because the majority of what we see online is false It's an illusion. And let me tell you something. If I had a boyfriend, you guys would never know until I had basically was walking down the aisle. I keep that private. I don't, I hide it. We've got Valentine's Day coming up, and a lot of women are going to be posting the flowers, the gifts, the bags. And if your man or your person didn't get you that, you're going to feel like they don't really care about you. And that couldn't be further from the truth. They could be in a different financial situation. They could be taking you elsewhere. They could realize that having memories or a love letter is more important. Stop comparing yourself to other people's relationships because you don't know what happens behind the scenes and you're simply setting yourself up for failure. It is the ultimate self-sabotage. So, I may not be married today, but I do feel that I can speak on relationships because I dated a lot of people. I've had the moments where I've hated dating, had the moments where I've hated men, and everything has changed for me once I changed my mindset. Everything in my life, but specifically dating. The people that show up in my life are amazing. Granted, there's a few a-holes that slip in here and there, but you get more clear. And when it does upset you, you can take the lesson learned and move forward into alignment with what you want. So, anyways, if you guys have relationship questions, like I'm your girl, like I coach, I talk to people all day long about this stuff. Really, the root of your problems are all in your mindset. So really focus on your mindset and your language and watch the magic happen. I hope you all have a wonderful Valentine's Day. I hope you all get laid. But if you're not in a relationship, you should always wrap it up because there's a lot of nasty stuff floating around out there. But yeah, enjoy, and we'll see you next time to find out who's next on Next to Madison. I'm your host, Madison Malloy. Please don't forget to rate, subscribe, and share with your friends. I would greatly appreciate that. And make sure to pick your copy up of Time to Lighten the F Up. Chapter 9 on relationships was referenced in this episode. We'll see you next time.
Hey, your host here, Madison Malloy. Please make sure to subscribe to the show on all podcast platforms, and please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. Also, if you have any questions or comments, you can email us at contact@nexttomadison.com. I thank you again for listening. Bye.